You need to make sure you understand that people can come from different entry points at different moments with different expectations.
Some myths or some areas where you feel both for AI use in customer service?
Big myth is to think that the customer journey is a linear journey. For us, being able to put forward in front of the customer the information that we have at any point in time was very important. But now when you talk about complex situations that require empathy, then I would not recommend to put AI.
If there's one piece of advice you could give to a CX leader,
I think the big one would be pick your battles. You cannot have parking tickets, but it's okay to get speeding tickets.
I'm really excited to welcome Aurelia to the AI and CX Innovators podcast today. She's a director of customer experience at carparts.com, a role she has held since July 2023, where she's focused on enhancing the entire customer journey and turning it into a growth engine. Prior to that, she had an incredible experience in luxury customer experience, and I really look forward to her thoughts today and our conversation. Welcome to our podcast.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm just very happy to talk about my favorite topic.
Thank you. Did I miss anything in your introduction?
No, I think that sums it all.
Yeah, thank you so much. So as we start the conversation, I think it will be really cool for the audience to know a little bit about your business at carparts.com right now, and some of the key challenges which are top of mind for you as you think about the next 6 to 12 months. Some key challenges which you have and your team has overcome over the last, relevant time period. Let's start there and we can dive into more areas.
Sure. So carparts.com, as the name is very explanatory, is an online e-commerce platform. We sell parts for your car in the US mainly. The company has been around for 27 years, so it's not a new company. It's more of a mature organization at that point. And we have about 1 million SKUs in our portfolio, so a very large assortment. And we serve about 43 million customers a year.
Wow. And again, just from the audience's perspective, is it both a B2B and a B2C model, or is it mostly?
Yes, we do both. We have a wholesale arm in our business, which is smaller than the B2C, but we're growing it. So maybe one day they will be not competing, but as big as each other.
Yeah, of course. Makes sense. And then what are some top of mind challenges for you and your team from a customer experience, customer journey, customer service perspective?
Well, so I told you about, the volume we're handling at CarParts is huge, right? So it brings a next level of difficulty. How do you service all the customers and make sure that all of them have a great experience? And, that's a challenge of every day: consistency, reliability. So this is what we're trying to work on, and we're using AI to try to scale up and make sure that's possible, because customers want easy, fast, and reliable, and we want to deliver that for them.
Makes sense. That totally makes sense. And that amount of volume, of course, of customer interactions or customer contacts warrants some kind of automation, some kind of AI use. Maybe talk to us a little bit about some myths or some areas where you feel both for AI use in customer service or in general about as companies think about customer journeys, which you would sort of want to burst for this space, right? Like some myths which you would want to burst for the space as they think about improving their customer journeys. Yeah.
Right. Well, one of the big myths is to think that the customer journey is a linear journey. There's nothing linear about the customer journey. And so you need to make sure you understand that people can come from different entry points at different moments with different expectations. I don't know how many, I think it's 6 websites that people actually check before landing on your own website.
Yeah.
So it is all about making sure once they're there, they have an easy experience. And after they use the product, if they have a question or a problem, we're here for them. But it could be at the beginning of the journey, at the end of the journey. So yeah, customer journey is not linear.
Yeah. And that's such a good point. And often one of the things which we have been thinking about a lot is when as a leader, you think about the customer journey, and leaders like you think about this customer journey, you are trying to optimize the experience end to end. You're not thinking about it in the digital part and the human agent part or the post engagement part. You're trying to design one customer journey. And then when providers like us think about it, we think about different parts of the solution, right? Like, hey,
Right.
this is it's not AI for human agents, AI for automation, AI for intelligence. It should be one AI, right?
But it is such a good point, though. I feel like whenever I talk to people about customer experience, they sum it up to an exchange with a contact center. And that's a false, explanation or of the customer experience. It's really what you just said, looking at it from end to end. For us, from the e-commerce experience to the delivery, to the loyalty program, to giving a review, this is how you need to think about the customer journey as a whole and not just a call or chat or email.
Yeah, makes sense. You've worked across luxury brands for a long time, and when you think of luxury brands, you think of incredible customer experience, incredible customer personalization and attention. What insights and learnings from that experience do you apply to your day-to-day job, and what insights and learnings from that experience do you wish customer service leaders would internalize?
So customers are customers, right? So whether they buy luxury or they buy a part for their car, they have similar basic expectations that they're going to have a good experience. The product is going to work, do what it's supposed to do. You're going to get it on time, and it's
Right.
the price that you wanted. So this is the same thing. But the luxury, I would say, is building onto different expectations that are more emotional.
Right.
History with the product and attachment with the product, maybe more about the brand itself, its heritage, and the experience that they're gonna get in store or online. So this is very different than what our customers are now experiencing on carparts.com, where they're gonna make sure that they find the right part for their car. So it's about the technical trust, the compatibility of the product to their car, and then the price for the product that they're getting. So a little bit different value proposition here, but you can still apply, some of the same expectations for both customers.
Makes sense. That makes sense. You're like the underlying principles more or less remain the same, right? Like I think customer expectations are similar.
You still want to have your website with no friction, right? So it's easy to navigate. It's easy to find what you want. It's easy to check out. Those are, the same basic points you need to hit every time.
Makes sense. Absolutely. Aurelia. Switching gears, when you are implementing AI in customer service, how have you seen that play out in your organization? What are some areas where you feel it's not a good place to start, right? How do you think about, because there are so many different use cases and people often put it as a monolith that, AI in customer service, well, it's a silver bullet, it'll solve all world problems, Talk about that.
Not a silver bullet. And I think you don't want to use AI for the sake of using AI, right? It's supposed to solve a problem that you have. I think for us, we just launched an AI assistant that helps track your orders and do other things. But the starting point was tracking your order. And one of the reasons is our team is not available 24/7 to answer chat and email and phone calls. But Spark, it's the name of our AI, is available whenever you want to, from the safety of your home at midnight in your bed. If you want to track where your order is, Spark has access to all the information that the agent would have access to. So for us, being able to put forward in front of the customer the information that we have at any point in time was very important. But now when you talk about complex situation that require empathy,
Yeah.
then I would not recommend to put AI in those situations, and obviously have a human agent, understand the complexity and propose the right solution that might not be the straightforward solution that AI could provide.
Yeah, that's such a good point. We talk about human agents are not just question answering. Their role is not just question answering or troubleshooting. It's being an advisor. It's being a financial planner. It's being a coach sometimes. It's being a health practitioner sometimes, right? And would you substitute a health practitioner with AI in terms of or a financial advisor with AI? For basic questions, yes, but
Exactly.
when buying life insurance, really?
But if you're asking a basic question like, where is my order? Whether it's a live agent or an AI agent, the answer is going to be the same.
Yeah, 100%. Totally makes sense. Maybe just double clicking on that. How do you balance that? In terms of, you mentioned where if there are workflows which have higher empathy needs or require more advisory. So when planning for automation, do you advise folks to identify specific workflows with some analysis almost and say, here are the human agent ones, here are the automation ones, or how would you plan for something like that? Yeah.
So what we did is we looked at what calls or chat or emails the customer service team was receiving.
Okay.
And then we looked at how many of those could have been answered by AI, because it's providing an information and not solving a problem, which AI can solve a problem. We're actually going to equip our AI to be able to cancel orders, to send emails on behalf of the customer, to delete your account. So do some of the things that the agents can do can be automated. So this is really where you have to map, okay, what are the questions that you receive from customers, and which one could you automate? Because in the end, the agent is just putting forward the same information than AI would. So that's how I would do. And then the other thing is looking where are the main pain points and how can you add value to those pain points. So if it's return, how can you use technology and AI or AI to make those easier and less painful for the customer?
Makes sense. That totally makes sense. And one of the other approaches which we talk about is that analysis can be done by machines, like using a voice of the customer or some tool like that, which gives you a sense of what are specific workflows, which or specific contact drivers at a very granular level. Nowadays, with technology, you can get to third or fourth level granularity of contact drivers, leading to, and then also getting a sense of where the quality of those interactions is, what is the customer sentiment of those interactions, and the frequency of those, and analyzing that, identifying things which are high frequency and low complexity and medium IC-SAT are things which the AI can automate, and hopefully make it better.
What we did also is we used the transcripts of all our calls, and so we were able to see exactly what were the questions and how the customers were asking them.
Yeah.
So and map it to our processes and rules and determine which one could be automated.
Makes sense.
But we all have those transcripts, right? We all have those emails that we can use.
One of the challenges which we see, or one of the big priorities we see for customer service leaders, is bringing other functions along to improve the customer experience. So, for example, nobody calls customer service to talk about customer service. It's about a product or a price or availability of something, I guess, in your case, right? So how do you get the operations team, the product team, the servicing team on the same mission to improve customer experience? And talk to us a little bit about that. And even in implementing new technology, I'm sure you are working with IT and security and other parts of the organization to implement new technology, right?
Every day. I think that's the beauty of CX. CX is really the remedy to silos because we work end to end and we look at the journey as a whole. It's easy to bring those teams together and remind them of the goal we're trying to accomplish, which is the same goal.
Yeah.
Is we want customers to be happy and we want the company to be making revenue too and successful. So when you put that on the table and you remind everybody and then you ask questions, why do you feel that way? Why is it difficult to implement? Why can't you do it in that time frame? I think asking those questions and understanding where each team is coming from, it's easy then to put them together because you understand, like a customer, you're going to ask them the questions, right? What's your problem? How can I help solve it? So it's funny to say that I apply the same thing I would apply with an external customer to my internal partners.
Makes sense. That totally makes sense. And maybe one related question is, do you see your product teams and operations teams come to your team for feedback on what is the pulse of the customer or where are we getting most issues, and how have you built any mechanisms in place to connect those two?
So they are, and they're even asking sometimes if we can run some surveys for them because they want to know, and we obviously want to know how the website's performing from a technical standpoint, but also for customers. I have never had to push, the customer point of view to those teams. I think they understand why they're working and why they're doing this. And it's not just for a website to be pretty, it's for the website to be functional, easy, simple. So I don't know if it's luck, but I feel like there's an understanding that customer is what pays our salary. And so we need to make sure they can do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah. We talked a little bit about the different technologies and the CX software stack, right? And the role of a CRM in the modern customer service org. Talk to us a little bit about that, because we see, the core data input streams like phone, like cloud telephony, ticketing, and so on, definitely has been useful. But what would be the new role of the CRM in the AI world, and how do you see that changing in the future? Yeah.
That's a very good question. It's changing fast, I feel like, with AI, and we don't have a CRM right now at carpals.com, which is interesting, but being able to have your data somewhere and apply an AI filter on this data makes the CRM not as needed as it was before. Yeah. So I wonder how, those companies are going to evolve to fit the needs of this, new revolution. But in the end, one thing that was difficult, and it's always difficult today, is have all those systems talk to one another and have to integrate your telephony system and your email and your chat and your SMS and your order management system and your ERP and your accounting. I mean, it's just so many different systems, and it becomes very tricky. I think with AI, we're going to a point where we won't have to do this anymore. And that's very exciting, because that means that we're going to be able to orchestrate those journeys so much better and so much faster than we did before. Today, it's a little clunky. It's like the left hand is not talking to the right hand. I feel like having this capability and being able to build ourselves also in-house with AI, which we couldn't do before. I mean, you could have, but it was costly and long.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting transition. I'm curious to see what happens next.
What are some of the, if you can share, if you can't, that's okay. What are some of the things which you are building in-house, or some kind of things which you're building in-house with AI, or some early experiments you guys are doing?
So we're doing a lot of things with the customer service team, obviously, because AI agentic is easier to implement. I would say it's pretty mature But we're also looking at the back of house. So everything operations. What can we automate? What are the things that people don't like to do that AI can do for them? And AI is on our roadmap. That was on our roadmap for 2025. One of the strategic levers that we needed to utilize. So yeah, working differently, I would say every single team is looking at that today, how to utilize to make their life easier and also to enhance whatever they were doing before, right? Yeah. So if you take the case of journey mapping was very static. Now it can be dynamic, and that's a huge improvement.
Yeah.
Because the day you put it out, it's already obsolete, right? So that's. I mean, there's so many applications. I feel like every day you discover a new one. Oh, I didn't know we could do that.
What do you mean by dynamic journey mapping? That's really interesting. Talk more about that. Yeah.
So instead of having or looking at your touch points and measuring it when you can and trying to put together, you can imagine that now you can look at it on a daily basis, which we couldn't do before, and have it, visualize what's happening at different touch points and literally like have a visualization of where are the red, coming up. So that's going to be interesting to see, as you change something, you can see the results right in time. You don't have to wait for those survey results, put them together.
Of course, then that makes sense. And is there an element in where you have to enable and train your team and to use these AI tools or some AI tools better or more effectively? And how has that, any advice there from the group on what has worked for you guys there?
So definitely you need to have, even though AI is easy to understand and use on a daily basis, as we all do with ChatGPT to help write emails or reports or whatever. But then when you go into making a new chat, like we did from scratch, it was really a collaboration between data science, technology, and the customer service team. And you need a collaboration of those departments, because on one hand you have this knowledge of the tool and of AI, and on the other hand you have the knowledge of the business and the rules and what customers are expecting, and you need to merge them. So everybody has their role. And it was so interesting because I learned so much from the data science team, and they're learning more about the business and the customers. And so it was, But definitely, I think in the future, we'll have to consider having different type of team members that are, savvy in how to make a prompt, how to check a code. Is that the right code? Isn't the right code? And it's not easy, and you learn by iteration. And so it's a lot of effort, hours, try and fail, and try again.
Of course, that makes sense. If there's one piece of advice you could give to a CX leader across all your sort of work areas and your experiences, doesn't have to be one, maybe top 3 or top 2. What would those be? And if you could talk about that.
I think the big one would be pick your battles, right? So I used to want to tackle everything and all those pain points. You want to resolve them. You want to help bring more value to the customer. At some point, you need to pick one, make sure that it's going to increase the value for the customer, solve their pain point, but also increase the value for the company. It has to be good for the customer, and it has to be good for the brand. It cannot be one or the other. And then make sure you align this to goals that your company have. If the goal for Q4 of your company is reducing costs and saving money, and you come with a program that's gonna cost $2 million and you're gonna see an ROI in 3 years, you're not aligning that to your company priorities, and no executive will sign on that. So pick your battle, pick one, make sure it aligns with the company priorities, and then go and do it, and then pick the next one.
Yeah. Absolutely. That makes so much sense.
No, and also maybe the last thing I could say is AI seem a little scary, to start, but you have to start somewhere. So I was at a conference last week, and someone said, and I'm going to steal it from him, that he tells his team, you cannot have parking tickets, but it's okay to get speeding tickets. Nice. And I really like that, because you need to start somewhere, and you're going to fail and you're going to make mistakes, but that's okay. But doing nothing and waiting is not something that you can do. You need to get on that train, and we're already all late. So let's get there.
That's such a great note to end on. Totally could not agree with that more.
No, I like that. So I had to steal it.
Yeah, I'm with you. And especially in the enterprise and the places where we operate.
Well, and then you're lucky when you have someone like our CEO and our CEO are very into get started, right? Because once you get started, you get that momentum that propels you forward. And so you get over I am ready. Is it perfect? It will never be perfect. So you have to start somewhere.
Yep, 100%. Thank you so much.
It doesn't make it less scary. And we could share some fun stories about AI trying to cancel orders for customers and refund customers when it doesn't have the ability, but want it to be helpful. Yeah. So we had to put some guardrails. It's like a child. You need to monitor 24/7, but it's a fun journey.
It's a fun journey for sure. Thank you so much, Aurelia. Really appreciate it. I think this is a good one.
Well, thank you for letting me rant for 30 minutes.
Yeah. No, this is wonderful. I really appreciate it. Thanks for your time today. Have a good weekend.
No, thank you. I can't wait to see what it does.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really appreciate your time. We are hosting actually a customer experience summit in November in Mountain View. I'll send you an invite for that if you think the agenda and stuff is worth your time.
Yeah.
Inviting a lot of leaders from, again, this is a podcast version of it. That's just one day in Mountain View's CX leaders like yourself. We will talk about
That would be great. Thank you for inviting me.
I'll send you an invite to that for sure.